ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, May 2nd. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-8255. That's the number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Let's get you caught up on what's happening softball-wise as the Herd is in action, getting set for game number 3. Yesterday's game was postponed due to weather, and they're playing a doubleheader today because of expected weather on Saturday. So already Marshall finished up game number 1, got the win over Georgia State 11-3. So that pushed the Herd to 13-9 in the standings. And then Marshall in the second game, first game of the scheduled doubleheader today, got the win 10-2. So now Marshall is 14-9 in the standings. Why is that important? Because right now, Marshall still has an opportunity to clinch a piece of the Sun Belt regular season title. If Marshall can finish 15-9, it's got to hope that Texas State and ULM drop at least one game apiece. Right now, both those teams are 14-8. Texas State overall 32-18, and Texas State has to deal with University of Louisiana Monroe. So we'll get an update on what that's going to look like if we get a score before it's over. And then Texas State, I'll tell you what, I think Marshall has a good shot here. I'm just looking these over right now again before I went on the air. I kind of looked at, and I was sitting here trying to figure out, okay, does Marshall have a chance here? And I think yes. I think because ULM and Texas State, if you get a series split, there's no way that one of these are going to win out. So we've got a shot here at a potential three-way tie for the top spot in the league standings. And if that's the case, all better for the Thundering Herd to clinch at least a share of the regular season crown. So good news for the Thundering Herd. It's on its way, it looks like, to at least having a shot. We'll see what the finished product looks like standing-wise. These two teams are scheduled to meet tomorrow. We have got basketball news to get into with you today. We're going to keep the text line open the rest of the way. It's going to be open text line all this hour. We got basketball news to get into with you as the Thundering Herd picking up another commit. We've got that Canadian pipeline going. We've got Marshall baseball looking for its 7th straight win tonight, beginning a Sun Belt Conference series at Old Dominion, and that's going to get started here in the next few minutes. So we'll try to keep you updated at least throughout the hour what it looks like early on. And then Kentucky is going to be in action this weekend at Mississippi State. First pitch for the first one tonight is set for 7 o'clock. And West Virginia, trying to bounce back after the loss to Marshall, will play host to Texas Tech in Big 12 action. Baseball action from the Bigs. Cubs got the better of the Pirates 8-3 yesterday. The Bucks will play host to the Padres tonight. We go on the air with that game right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 a few minutes after the show. Reds got the win over the Cardinals 9-1. Cincinnati opening up a home series with the Nationals tonight at 6:10. And then the Guardians will face off against Toronto. That's coming up tonight, 7:07. Guardians got the win over the Twins 4-3 yesterday in 10 innings. And, of course, if you're looking for a little minor league baseball early on, good news. The Charleston Dirty Birds get the season underway. Home opener is set against Southern Maryland. That's going to be at 6:35 tonight from Go-Mart Ballpark in Charleston. So, and I want to keep the text line open. I've got a couple of things I want to get into with you. And we're going to talk basketball in just a few minutes. But it's Derby weekend. I'm not a Derby fan. Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. I just don't spend a lot of time on it. But that's something that's really popular for a lot of people. They watch the Derby. Of course, there's Derby parties, and there's a lot of people who will go to the Derby itself. an excuse to drink mint juleps and dress up, and that's fine. It's completely understandable. It's an event for a lot of people. A lot of people go just to be seen. I'm not into horse racing. I'm not really into racing as much. I like open wheel, but I'm not a race fan. Horse racing, I appreciate it though. If I was going to put a card in, here you go. I want to play the horses. Give me your 3 picks for the Derby. What's your card going to look like? If I'm going to put that card in, I want to know what I'm talking about here. So give me a good card to turn in and say, here are my picks. So Monday, when we all hit the jackpot with your excellent picks, we can all be rolling in the cash here. You know how this goes, right? Somebody's going to drop a large sum of money at the window and say, put it all on. So what should I look for in the Derby this weekend? Whom, or what excites you the most? Is it a particular trainer? Is it a particular horse? What do you think? Your favorites for the Derby. So that's one thing I want to talk about. And I know Rodriguez was scratched from the Derby due to a foot bruise. So Rodriguez is out. I know that. I do know a little bit. Also, and we're going to go into this a little bit more, it's starting to feel like we've got this Marshall Canadian pipeline in basketball coming. And so Marshall picking up Noah Atshuti. And we're going to talk more about this young man, but he looks like he's going to be competing for a starting job with the Thundering Herd. So we've got this Canadian pipeline starting to form with the Thundering Herd. We're going to break that down a little bit more. Also, some coaching changes today in the National Hockey League and the NBA. Some bad news. Greg Popovich is done coaching. If you remember, he suffered a mild stroke in November, and he's been trying to get back, but I think at this point he realizes that's just not going to be possible. So he is stepping away from coaching. So he is done. He is 76. This is probably a good move on his part. He's done enough. He's had an outstanding career as a coach. I think he's well regarded. Everybody knows he's one of the best coaches to ever do it. So I don't think you need to worry about anything. I don't think he's legacy chasing, but he's stepping away. He's 76. And then former Pittsburgh Penguins coach Mike Sullivan parting ways with the Penguins just a few days ago, and the New York Rangers scoop him up. So he was an assistant coach with the Rangers once upon a time before he got the head coaching position. And, of course, he was the coach of Team USA. You remember the Frozen Four, the Four Nations face-off. I apologize. Four Nations face-off. And so Sullivan, 409, 255, and 89. Wins, losses, and ties with the Penguins and 2 cups. So here's a guy that I probably had not very nice things to say about as the head coach of the Penguins. Now he's my guy. So the Penguins losing their coach and the New York Rangers picking him up. But we'll get you updated on everything happening, softball, baseball, and we'll hear from you. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Open lines on a Friday coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hurt at work? Tom Boggs is here for you in Huntington, and he's brought the expertise of Warner Law Offices with him.
Call 345-6789.
At home or at work, in the car or at the gym, there's nothing more convenient than the fast service and the quality products brought to you by Tyler Mountain Water and Coffee. If you're always on the go with family, friends, coworkers, and business associates, give Tyler Mountain Water and Coffee a chance. They have everything that you need, from filtration coolers, coffee for your work, at-home delivery, and 8-ounce, 10-ounce, and half-liter bottles, or by the pallet. Tyler Mountain Water and Coffee, where great taste just comes naturally. Visit us at tylermountainwater.com.
This Mother's Day, celebrate Mom with a brunch buffet she'll never forget at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Enjoy a delicious spread featuring filet tenderloin, deviled crab, applewood smoked ham, scrambled eggs, sausage, bacon, cinnamon roll, French toast, eggs Benedict casserole, and country fried potatoes. Plus, fresh fruit, desserts, and more for just $29.99 for adults. Available Mother's Day, Sunday, May 11th from 11 to 3. Make Mom's Day special at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, 3rd Avenue, Huntington, across from Pullman Square.
I'm Nori, and when I was young, my mom opened our home to someone who needed a secure and safe place. She taught him what it was like to have someone care about you, having dinner at home or going out to eat together.
In West Virginia, families open their homes every year to adult family care.
Some folks need a little extra help, but everybody deserves a family.
Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an adult family care home finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Bell, and I invited you here to my hotel room to talk about your cheeks. Your big, beautiful cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter, I'm talking about swabbing them. Did you guys know that each year 20,000 Americans with blood cancer are searching for their life-saving marrow match? Can you even believe that? I mean, people need marrow, you guys, and we have it. So here's how we can help. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is swab your cheek, this cheek. Then go to Gift of Life Marrow Registry. It's so easy, anyone can do it. And in case you're wondering, if you're a match, donating is a lot easier than you think. So wherever you are, go ahead and swab that cheek. Go to giftoflife.org and get a free kit sent to your home, or find a donor drive in your area so that you can swab a cheek and save a life. It's only a minute of your time, but it can give someone else the rest of their life.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We are settled in and ready to go with your text. Our text line is always brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We were talking yesterday about Marshall and WVU having an outstanding crowd. No reason why we can't see this game go on and on and on for years here, especially with its current rotation. Morgantown, Huntington, neutral game, air quotes here, neutral game in Charleston. But it was brought up, we talked about, could Marshall theoretically have a game standalone in Charleston, and would that be a sellout? And I thought maybe not, just because you're still building baseball and growing baseball, and you've got a brand new ballpark here. So I would stay at home as much as possible instead of having a second or third neutral game. For West Virginia, it maybe makes more sense to come down and play a different game as a neutral game in Charleston, only because Mountaineer fans that are in the capital city, in the Kanawha Valley, that maybe can't get up to Morgantown to watch a game, would have an opportunity to go and play. But I think what came to the conclusion, or at least I came to the conclusion, that it would be great, but it wouldn't be a sellout. West Virginia's not selling out. It's going to have to be a special circumstance for West Virginia to sell out in Charleston. And I think Marshall is going to be the same thing. it's going to have to be a special circumstance. And so I had a couple people text me yesterday and today, after the show, and they all pointed out that West Virginia, for the most part, has had neutral games before and hasn't been able to really attract a sellout crowd. Because we had a couple people text in and say, WVU could sell out. Marshall, maybe not so much, but WVU could sell out. Well, the best I think that West Virginia could hope for is maybe the 4,000 range of that. The place holds, I believe, 4,500. Is West Virginia going to be able to sell out on its own? It's going to be super close, and the opponent's going to dictate a lot of that. But I'm going to say no. And so this game makes perfect sense because it's a great gate for everyone. It's a sellout plus, not just a sellout. It's a sellout plus. You're going to be able to sell a lot of concessions. You're going to be able to sell a lot of adult beverages, hot dogs, peanuts and Cracker Jacks, all that, all the baseball food. This makes perfect sense. This series is absolutely a no-brainer. And for baseball, I think it works. Basketball, I don't know if there's any animosity there anymore. All the principles are pretty much gone. Football, there's always going to be animosity. Basketball, I don't know if you have at least with the coaching staffs, I don't think Coach Jackson is really a guy you look at and you get mad at. He's not an agitator. He's a blessed man, and he wants to share those blessings. He's not an agitator. He's not saying anything that's kind of going to rattle somebody's cage. And that is where we went wrong with the verbal spat that Marshall and WVU got into. Dan D'Antoni making his comments, Bob Huggins reacting to that. Next thing you know, this series is over. So I don't think we're going to see this thing in Charleston anytime soon. We're not going to have another Capital Classic, but I honestly think it needs to go away from Charleston and just be one of those where Marshall goes to Morgantown. And I would do it once a year. I would rotate it. I'm not going to get into having, this 1-1. Go to Morgantown. Go to Huntington. You don't even have to have this series every year. You can have it maybe every couple of years. Like, okay, we'll go to Morgantown in a couple of years, come to Huntington. And then rinse and repeat. I think that would be probably the best thing to truly get this thing going again. And let's see where it goes. Transfer portal, anything can happen. And what's one game going to hurt anyone? And have it before conference play. I don't want it in conference play. That's one of my demands. Get this thing played before conference, or let's not do it. Do it early in the season. Do it before conference play. Let's not do it during conference. So we'll get more of your text on that, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Speaking of basketball, we've got this Canadian pipeline going right now. And so Marshall has added Canadian guard Noah Schutte. He is a 6'2" grad transfer from Western University. Last season, started all 21 games, averaged 17.4 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1.8 steals. He was on the court for 30 minutes a night. Here's what we like about him. He shot 46% from the floor and 35% from the three-point line. He's 75% from the free throw line, can always make that better. And he was a first-team OUA All-Star, scored a career-high 34 points in a game against Laurentine, finishes his career with over 1,000 points, and so here he is. Don't know too much about the competition still. That's the one thing. Don't have the frame of reference. You look at him, you look at his video, and you see him out there, and you think, okay, he's got tools he can play. But you don't know what he's going to look like when it gets to, I don't want to say proper college basketball, but it's going to be a step up. You're definitely coming from a different situation. I mean, you look at his numbers here, and 30 minutes a game. So he was in the game, and he was almost at 18 points a game. Brought in 62 rebounds, so that was good enough for 3 a game. 85 assists last season. Had 38 steals. Had a block. Had 1 block. Okay, we'll take it. But 3-point shot, 26 of 74, and then 44 of 59 from free throw line. So we're looking at 75%, 35% from 3, and then 46% from the field goal line. Looks good. And you bring someone in, and they're going to come in. They're not probably going to be looking for the huge NIL deal, just the opportunity to play in college basketball. That's the thing. You get to play in college basketball in the United States, and then you have a situation in which something could happen. Improve your stock. That's what I think we're going to see now. We're going to have this transfer portal working every year where, a lot of kids are trying to improve their stock, sees that Marshall might be a good opportunity, perform well at Marshall, then that's going to improve your stock, and you might get an opportunity at maybe a bigger university or a bigger payday, and then Marshall will rinse and repeat, bring some players in that have ability, that are trying to prove themselves. That might be the model for Thundering Herd basketball. Can't go after the big dollar kids, and so you bring in the kids that are hungry and trying to create the value for themselves, and you might just have to be in that mode where, okay, we know for the most part, a lot of these guys are going to be one and done, and that's it. When it's over, go get the next guy. I would love to see players stick around for several years and kind of build something here, but is it the pursuit of championships a big factor for a lot of these kids, or is it the pursuit of putting yourself in the best situation to get the best opportunity to advance yourself? For me, I'm a little old-fashioned. I like the championships, but that's what benefits the school. What benefits the player? Are we talking about how good this kid is, or are we talking about how many championships he has? Does championship pedigree matter when you're looking at players trying to improve their stock to get to the next big thing and possibly the NBA? If championships mattered, it'd be a different landscape out there. You wouldn't be worried about NIL so much. It'd be the championship teams, the teams competing for championship. Now, of course, you bring all these kids in, at least at the upper levels, to win a championship. That's basically what you're doing. How'd that work out for Ohio State? You're bringing people in to win championships, but you're trying to get yourself to the point where you are who they're bringing in, and you're getting that payday. So it might work out for Marshall. I just miss the days where you can put together a good roster, and then you develop it, and then you make a run, and you have a shot at a championship. Now, Marshall's going to have instant success every single year. You're going to have to hope that everyone you bring in from the transfer portal hits, and you're going to have to hope that you can retain most of it and then go and get new players. Think about football. How many players that will be coming in will be here next year? That's the thing. How many of these players are going to be here next year? How many stay over and go, hey, you know what? I like Marshall. I'm staying. I'm going to be here. Or is it just going to be another season of, okay, we're going to bring a whole bunch of players in, and then we're going to lose a whole bunch of players after the spring game, and we're going to bring a whole bunch of new players in, and we'll get them ready. We'll have the season. Hopefully we'll have the bowl. And then we're going to lose a bunch of players, bring some new ones in, have the spring game, lose a bunch of them again, rinse and repeat. Text line is open for you, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Save big on everything for your next project at Menards. Rust-Oleum Stops Rust 5-in-1 Spray Paint lets you choose from 5 unique spray patterns with a twist of the dial. Use it on a wide range of wood or metal projects for long-lasting results. Choose from over 50 color options, available now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Progressive presents Good News, Bad News, Dumb News, then Great News. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hit the road with the all-new University Ford. Choose from over 400 vehicles, all tariff-free, because Ford builds more American-made vehicles and employs more American workers than any other auto manufacturer. And now, for a limited time, University Ford is excited to extend their employee discount to you. That's right. Take advantage of employee pricing from University Ford. From America, for America. Don't wait. Get started at UniversityFordWV.com. We are University Ford. We are driving tradition forward.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words. Playing world music. What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We got a score update from the Dot. It's in the middle of the second right now. Marshall's got the lead over Georgia State 5-0. Let me just go ahead and pin it in now, and I hope I'm not jinxing it. Marshall's going to finish in conference play 15-9. That could get Marshall a share of the title. That could happen because you look at the standings right now. Marshall would be one game back, 14-9 right now. Texas State, ULM, 14-8. Look at the schedule. Texas State got to play ULM. Now the two teams met yesterday, and it was a 5-3 win for Texas State. So all we need is a split here. That's it. Just need a split. Texas State can win one. ULM can win one. It'll be a split. Both teams would be 15-9. Marshall would be 15-9. We'll have a three-way tie for that conference championship. I'm good with that right now. Absolutely. I don't know how I feel, though. Texas State is going up against a ULM team that's lost 3 in a row. I'm not sure how I'm feeling on this right now. We need Texas State to win one, and then we need ULM to win one. And then both teams would be at the same record as Marshall if Marshall can hold on against Georgia State right now. And then we have that three-way tie. And then we got to go to the tiebreakers. And I don't want to go to the tiebreakers. I absolutely do not want to go through that process. We'll do that show on Monday. That's what we're going to do. We'll have that show on Monday. Only if Marshall could have gotten that last game at Georgia Southern. I'm looking back here. If Marshall could have got that game against Georgia Southern and swept Georgia State, which it looks like it's going to be able to do, we wouldn't have to really almost worry about this. Of course, the Coastal Carolina series maybe hurt the herd a little bit, and losing the series at South Alabama hurt the herd a little bit. But Marshall beat Texas State, got the series. So Marshall beat Texas State series-wise. So we're good there. I don't want to go through the tiebreaker process. So if someone wants to do that, go ahead. Text line's open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. You handle those duties. We will repeat them. So we'll get back to our text line in just a moment here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've been talking about Marshall's new commit from the Canadian U Sports League. He is Noah Schutte, and a couple of people have already texted in. Texter says, Paul, he's better than Mingo already. Appreciate the text. Looks like it statistically. Yeah, I think so. And we saw how well Dezane Mingo progressed for the Thundering Herd. If Noah can do the same thing, if not quicker, I think he's going to be better than Dezane Mingo. Absolutely. I'll take that right now. I want that action. At the end of the season, I think it's going to be safe to say this kid's going to hit better than Mingo did, and I had a lot of positive things to say about Dezane Mingo once he started getting going. So, yeah, I want that action. I feel comfortable in saying that. And really, I didn't see where he got too many offers, and that's okay. That's not really what it's about. I don't look at players and go, oh, who's offering him? I got a couple people texted in just now asking, where he got offers from. I didn't see too many offers, but I'm not concerned about that because it's not about the schools that are offering. It's does he have something that helps the Thundering Herd? And if that's the case, go get him. And again, you got a kid coming out of the Canadian League. I think Coach Jackson's got like a pipeline. He's built a Canadian Huntington pipeline right now. Somebody has turned him on to this kid, or he's got people who are keeping an eye on this, and he's going a different route. Why kill yourself with the transfer portal when you can go and maybe pick up a couple of kids that you can develop for a little bit? They're going to hit. They're going to give you benefits right away. And if they go elsewhere after the season, then they go elsewhere. And then you do it again. That's going to be the new system here for college basketball. At least at Marshall's level, try to get guys that can hit right away. And then if they go elsewhere, try to find guys that can hit right away again. And that's really what it comes down to. You're going to have to find guys that can hit now. No more, let's develop this kid. He's going to be a great 4-year player for us. How many kids are you going after in high school anymore? And really, I'm curious to see what this looks like in a few years, how much more difficult it's going to be for kids out of high school to land a spot. Why spend time on a kid out of high school when you got this player that's kind of developed already and he's on paper ready to go? Plug him in. He's coming to your school, plug him in. Maybe high school kids will go, if they're really talented, if they're the best of the best, they're going to go somewhere. But, you've got these marginally talented kids. Maybe they drop down a division, they go somewhere else, and then they work their way up. That's a strong possibility as well. But, what it's going to look like in a few years is anybody's guess right now. And I know that's making it difficult for these kids trying to find schools, because if I'm looking for a player, and do I take a flyer on a kid out of high school that maybe won't stick around, or do I take a flyer on a kid that's proven himself looking to make a change, comes in, immediate impact, helps me win now? If he stays, great. I've got a developed player. If he goes, well, I'll go get another one out of the transfer portal. Same recipe. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Our final segment is coming up. Final chance for you to get your text in this hour on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, the exclusive provider of sports medicine services to Marshall University Athletics, is pleased to offer walk-in clinics 6 days a week. Full-service appointments are available on a walk-in basis weekdays from 9 until 3, and a screening clinic is conducted Saturday mornings 8 to 10. No appointment necessary. For more information, call 304-691-1880. The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, taking care of the herd, taking care of you.
Thirsty for something local?
Kerber Beer Company is serving up craft brews and great food with a full menu at their brand new tap room on Brady Street in the village of Barboursville. Enjoy trivia, live music, and more. Plus, when that weather finally warms up, grab a pint outside in their Brady Street Beer Garden. Can't make it to the brewery? Find Kerber Beer at more than 20 different locations. And if it's not on tap at your favorite spot, well, ask for it. Kerber Beer Company, from our village to your glass. KerberBeer.com.
Good morning, beat freaks. Who's ready to move? Let's start this day right.
Tasha's morning dance parties are meeting rave reviews.
Lose your phones and find your groove.
They need an ops manager to help their community dance the morning away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Nori, and over the years, my mother and I have opened our homes to those who need it most, and it's been so rewarding. I bet you didn't know that some adults who have unfortunately been mistreated need a place to call home in West Virginia. It happens more than you know. They may have some physical or mental limitations, and they need your help. Everyone deserves a place to call their own. I can tell you from my experience, it's worth it.
If you have an open heart and want to open your home, Adult Family Care may be the right fit for you. Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an Adult Family Care Home Finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey, is that a faucet running?
Nope, that's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest.
It is?
Yeah, forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. The water comes straight from the forest to us. In fact...
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
How do trees clean the air?
They soak up the dirty air on their leaves, branches, and trunks, which means clean air for us.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yep, but the forest does more than give us clean air and water. It gives us shade for hot days, birds to listen to, and trees to climb.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know how cool the forest could be. Hey, let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thanks, Dave. We appreciate you. Don't forget, Dave will be with you on Monday also right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Final segment for today's edition of The Drive. It's a Friday, so we're hopefully having a good time with you. We're having a good time right now with softball, top of the third, Thundering Herd leading 6-0. So the Thundering Herd adding to its lead, and I've already penned it in, 15-9 in the standings. We just need ULM and Texas State to split the next two games. Just split. That's it. We will be good, and it will be perfect for the Thundering Herd. if Marshall could get a share of the regular season championship, and then that would be something I think that everyone would be happy to celebrate with Coach Z. You'll take that. You'll take a share. You want to win that thing outright, but you'll take a share of it, at least at this point. In Coach Z's career with the Herd, we'll take it. But Marshall, one of the top teams in softball, sitting at 14-9. And as soon as this one's official, it'll be 15-9. And then getting set for the Sun Belt Conference Championship. What's that look like? Well, if Marshall is going to be one of the top 3 seeds, so let's say Marshall is either seed 1, 2, or 3, that would mean the Thundering Herd will be in the quarterfinals on Thursday, May 8th. Seed 1 plays at 11 a.m. Seed 2 would play at 8 p.m. and then Seed 3 would play at 5 p.m. You want to get into the quarterfinals. You want to avoid that first round because first round is going to be the 8-9 game, and Marshall's not going to be in any jeopardy going that day. And then the second game will be the 7-10 game. So, Marshall's not in any jeopardy. Marshall's locked in pretty much for the quarterfinals. It's just where will the Thundering Herd end up in the seeding. And, of course, after the quarterfinals, semifinals will be on Friday, May 9th. Championship game set for May 10th. That's your Sun Belt Conference Championship. That's going to be at the Troy Softball Complex in Troy, Alabama. I'd like to see some of those come back the Herd's way. I know we had the Sun Belt Conference Championship game here in Huntington. That was basically because the way the tournament is structured. I know a few years ago, Conference USA had the tournament here, but I'd like to get to the point where we're developing the facilities into complexes. I wish I could dig the audio out, but we had this conversation years ago with former Huntington Mayor Steve Williams about, kind of wanting to be like a mini Indianapolis, have, lots of facilities for tournaments. And I don't know where you're going to put all those facilities in Huntington, but I would like to see at least Marshall be able to host a couple of things in the Sun Belt. I don't know how feasible that is right now. I'm just happy we got the baseball park built. Back to the text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our number to be a part of today's show. Texter says, do you really think this new kid's going to be better than Mingo? Absolutely. Appreciate the text. I believe it. Let's look at his numbers now. I think he's better coming out of Canada than Mingo was, and I thought Mingo was good. So this kid's coming out, and I think he's better. So Coach Jackson doesn't have anything to prove to me. He's going to get the most he can out of this kid coming out of Canada. Western University, the Mustangs, for those of you that are curious. Again, 30 minutes a game, and he averaged almost 18 points, 17.4 if you want to be exact. I'll take as many kids from Canada. If they're good, we'll take them. Absolutely. I just don't know what recruiting is going to look like in the high school ranks these days. I mean, is it going to be to the point now where a lot of your recruiting budget is going to be portal? And then you try to get a kid or two on the high school side that can maybe give you some depth? Are you going to go across the country recruiting high school kids in basketball when you get the portal right there? How's that change in a few years? When more of your recruiting budget is portal. And when I say recruiting budget, is it more your recruiting budget to go after players and travel and scout? Or is it going to be, okay, here's free agency. Let's build our team out of free agency. That's what we're getting into. The transfer portal is free agency. Everyone's a free agent. You got to re-recruit the team you have. You got to re-recruit the commits you have. You got to go out and identify players in the portal and bring them in. It's free agency. How many dollars are going to be put towards that? How many dollars are going to be put toward going to high school games? Coaches traveling across the country, going to high school games and scouting talent. I don't think that's going to happen as much. I mean, you will still have scouting. You're going to have guys on ground with eyeballs on players. But at the end of the day, transfer portal is where it's going to be. It's free agency. We have a free agency system, and it's not going to get any easier. And it's going to cost a lot more. And I don't know what kind of strain that's going to put on Marshall University in raising money for the foreseeable future to stay competitive in the Sun Belt or just stay competitive in Division I. Text line 304-396-TALK. Texter says, that's a good point. Gone are the days of rooting for local kids to start for the Thundering Herd. I hope it's not the case ultimately. I'd like to think that if there's a standout in the state, if there's a local talent that's Division I caliber, ready to go, they can play, that you would go after them. It's just how far and how wide will you go to find high school talent that might be here for a year and then done. You develop them and then they're done. And what's that mean for talent pool in the future? If everyone's going after transfer portal, of course you're going to see some kids that will get scholarships or get on a team right out of high school, and they're going to develop and then they're going to move up. So you think the lower divisions are going to maybe be where the talent develops and then it moves up? Are we going to have sort of a tiered system when it comes to player development? Maybe you develop at Division II, maybe you develop at lower level Division I schools, and then you move up. You show that you can play, and then you move up, and then you move up again. That might be the model. And, of course, if you've got players at top-level programs and they're not happy with what their situation is, they're not necessarily moving down, but they're going to go somewhere where they can play right away. And that might be the pitch. Like, hey, look, you might look good there sitting on the bench at name your Power 4 school. But if you want to actually play, you have more of an opportunity to play here than you do there. That might be my pitch, if it isn't already the pitch that Coach Jackson's making if you're looking for guys that are kind of disgruntled. Or that's your pitch period. It's like, look, hey, you can get in on there, but if you really want to play, you got more of an opportunity to play here. That's going to do it for this edition. Let's check one more time. Softball, let's see how the Herd's doing. Thundering Herd trying to finish the regular season 15-9. Bottom of the third, Marshall up on Georgia State. 6-0. This one looks like it's going to be all for the Herd. Let's knock on wood and hope that I haven't jinxed it. I'll be back with you Monday here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. We upload the podcast for those of you that don't get a chance to listen to the show on a regular basis. If you want to tune in anytime, you can download the show. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, also on our website, WRVC.com. I'll be back with you Monday, ready to go. Hopefully you all have a great weekend, and we'll come back with a new week here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.